Welcome to season 2 of Mucked Up My Self-Care.
I'm Linda from Tasmania.
And I'm Jill from New York.
We're literally on the opposite sides of the world right now.
Which means between the two of us, we've mucked up in multiple time zones.
Internationally mucked up.
We started this podcast talking about self-care in the chaos of motherhood.
But this season we're going deeper into capacity, identity shifts, growth, and what sustainable self-care actually looks like.
Yeah, and it's still messy, it's still real, but now it's just a little bit more intentional.
So if you're a mum who has tried self-care and absolutely mucked it up,
or a mom who has no idea where to even start,
bunk down on the couch or a laundry pile, whatever you've got.
And let's get going.
Okay. Hi, Jill. Welcome back. We're here for another episode of Mucked Up My Self-Care. I'm Linda.
And I'm Jill.
And today we're going somewhere a little bigger than our own backyards because self-care is, as we know, universal. And we're on opposite sides of the world. But the way mums actually live it out, that actually looks wildly different depending on where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm. But one thing that's consistent across the world is our ups and downs that we face each day or week. And we like to start our episodes out sharing those. So let's get right into our highs and lows. Linda, would you share first?
Sure. High for me is, well, I feel like we've just found a bit of more of a rhythm with school. And even though we're actually about 8 weeks into the year, it feels like it's just taken a little while for us all to adjust after a prolonged summer break for us. And then we're going to hit Easter and some more school holidays. But at the moment, my high is getting out the door this morning relatively smoothly and then enjoying watching the kids do their thing and grow and learn and make progress and all that sort of stuff. And for me, the low would have to be just got this seasonal cough and it just wears me down when it comes around. And I shouldn't be surprised that it comes around because I've been here, done that before, but every time it does, I just feel really run down and tired and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. What about you, for you, Jill?
Let's see. My high is we recently just went out to my family's farm stand and got to enjoy some time with some of our extended family. And it was a beautiful moment that we got to share with Declan, my 5-year-old. My dad's passed, my grandpa's passed, and they both were people who helped me on the farm stand plant. And my cousin who owns the farm stand got to have this really special moment with my son in helping him plant a basket for me for Mother's Day. And it just, God, it brought all the feels because it was like, I didn't have my dad or my grandpa to do this with my son, but it still stayed as a family thing. And I had a cousin that was able to do it. And he cares just as much as they do for him. And it was just so special to watch because I could see, probably from my mom's perspective, that same kind of moment that I got to see for him. So,
special.
Very special. So that's my high. At the same time, my low was probably I was in pain quite a bit from being pregnant. I am at the moment that my hips are making way for what is going to be happening in just a few more weeks. And it was a lot of standing and walking around that day. So it just, all of it just sits right in your pelvic region and it was hurt. So I will be, I'm grateful for a mentally good pregnancy, but my body is just taking a toll.
So, yep, you know what it's like. Yeah. It's rough. Yeah.
So
yes. And I think that, Jill, that's something we can all relate to in a lot of us are mums, if you're listening, or have been mums in the past, or grandmas and that sort of stuff. And we all do need self-care. And even though self-care is universal, sometimes what it looks like and who's allowed to have it, whether there's any guilt attached and that sort of thing, it's not actually universal at all if we dig a little bit deeper. And I think one thing that springs to mind as you were talking about, lugging the extra passenger and all that sort of stuff, is rest. How rest is often seen as being lazy, especially in the Western cultures, and in other parts of the world, no one really earns permission to stop. They're just held or cared for by the larger community or family or all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah. Rest is it's woven into those communities. It's not always something that's highlighted in a lot of communities either, but the idea of self-care has been, we'll say, repackaged as a product, like myself, I'm looking into, prenatal massage right now, and I'm looking around for a salon, technically, or a spa that is capable of doing prenatal massage, because most places do regular massage, but you got to make room for the belly. So, and they package those things as, a self-care spa day. So it's, I can totally see that some places are branding it versus encouraging it as just a way of life.
Yeah, and I think once you put that price attached to it, because it often is a price on top of let's say a regular massage or something like that, that's when you feel like you have to earn it a lot more, or like you're almost forced to enjoy it.
Because the one I'm looking at, it's got the massage, it's got a wash and blowout for your hair and a mani-pedi, and I'm like, this is a big ticket item. I can't afford this on my own. But you know where I did put it? I put it on my baby registry.
Nice. Good idea.
There is a spot which I love. I'm going to plug this in here real quick. There is a website called Be Her Village, and it is an amazing spot for moms to add motherhood wellness services to their registry. It's where I'm registered to get help in funding my doula and funding self-care for pre and postnatal, diaper registry, it's just these collective fundings that people can put towards for a mom to be like. It's so incredible that they're able to do this. And they have a whole host of registries for different service providers. So you can find a pelvic floor therapist there. You can find your doulas there. You can find Mama Outspoken on there for a village community. There's so many different things. And it's changed the game in how we can add self-care as a wellness versus a product.
Yeah. And I in an ideal world, I feel like a lot of these add-ons, if you like, such as the registry and, the website and everything that often the mum has to organise. Ideally, I'd love to see those become a little bit more like a ritual sort of thing that would be then passed down to generations. Because I feel like that's what it would have been originally, where before tech came along, before, a lot of these monetized type self-care activities happened. It would have been just a given and a ritual where there'd be mother blessings and all those sort of things, which would mean that the mum would be essentially taken care of. They would look after the baby or the other older children, if you had older children, and that's where I really feel like our society doesn't support the the level that you need, especially in that postpartum period. But also, if you're a single mum, or if you've got just having a really bad day, or just anybody really, to support them in a way which I feel is required, in the fact that we often need people to help us do a pickup or a drop off at school, or cook a meal, or all of those little things which help immensely. However, we're still quite secluded and busy,
Yeah.
which is the opposite of rest, essentially, as well. Everyone's so busy, everyone's so time poor, and we've got so much pressure on us to work full-time jobs and care for kids full-time, and the list goes on. Yeah.
I think between what I'm hearing from you, Linda, yours in Australia and ours in the US are very similar with that loneliness feel, like we have to do things alone. Like we talk a lot on the podcast about not excluding our children from our self-care all the time.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that we hear a lot of, is that it's me time and not an us time, which is totally acceptable. But it's like, that's the only way self-care exists, is this solo, and it can be very lonely. Yeah. And then when we think about burnout, and when we get no help from a village, like you're saying, how we want more of that support from others in our villages, the communities around us, like that is another lonely part, because we've done it all ourselves. We get to a point where nobody else is there for us, and then we drop the ball on self-care. So there's that loneliness aspect that it's a lot of cultures.
Yeah, because realistically, for both of us, if we were aiming or striving for self-care to be solo and alone, chances are that would reduce our self-care time significantly.
Definitely, yeah.
And make it so impossible to try and do on many days. Yeah. That actually it just isn't realistic in setting those expectations for ourselves either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's really important, especially for boys, having young boys growing into men, to see that we do need to rest, and we deserve to rest, and we are not. I said to my almost teenagers the other week, this is not a free hotel. I'm not here to just cook your meals and clean your clothes and pick up all your shit, basically.
Yeah. They're getting old enough now they can contribute. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And even the young ones need to, because it is a team effort, and otherwise I just would not rest. Yeah. I would not. I'd be constantly. Yeah. So, yeah.
There's that idea of loneliness doing motherhood alone versus the village model, and like what that actually looks like. So, Linda, what does it mean to have a village to you?
It means certainly less stress on my nervous system and my mental load, which I think we're going to talk about mental load in a few more episodes, but definitely less pressure on me, knowing that I have a village around me versus doing it completely solo. And I'd love to know how that happens, because I do still struggle to reach out to people and ask for help. And I think that's also part of what's ingrained into us, that asking for help is seen as a bit of a failure. And so, yeah, having a village is ideal. I still can't always see it in my reality, though. So it takes time. Yeah. What about for you, Jill?
Yeah, I think you're onto something with it. It's taking time, but I think it's effort too. Because for me, it's what I'm recognizing. I like through Mom Outspoken. Yes, I've created a village. It's a community of a place for you to gain access to different resources. I love that idea of a village, but it's virtual. And then when you bring it to a person, like an actual human being village, the people around you, I love to think that I have one, which I do, but it also means I have to be a village member, which means I have to extend the same things I'm expecting from others in my village to them. And I think that's the hard part, is that we want to be in a village, but we're not willing to be village members back. And that's what I'm working on right now, in really practicing hard, being not just needing a village, but also open and accepting to the help and to giving help in that same village.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I don't think that that our help or emotions or doing of self-care is always linear. You know, we've talked before about the peaks and troughs of some days we need more self-care than others. It's just that simple. Some days we'll need a village more than others. And some stages of life, like in postpartum, I think you need a village a lot more than, you know, and so I think we run into a risk, especially in the Western culture, of I give you, you know, six coins of self-care and you have to give me 6 coins back, where it's not always a match of
Right.
You know.
No, there's no equality in it.
No.
Because how can our needs are all different. So like cultures where postpartum care is communal, like, well, I love the idea that, you know, my family farm stand, we'll go back there real quick to like my high. Like if we weren't there on an event day, I actually would have just been able to let my son go hang out with my cousins, and I wouldn't have seen him for an hour. Like he just would have been with the older kids, just exploring and been done. And I could have just rested and enjoyed conversation with other family members. You know, I love that idea. We walk to school every day with a few friends that are in his class, and they have now given me the opportunity to just text them and say, hey, I can't walk to school today. Can you take Declan? And
awesome.
They'll just jump right in. And that's extended into postpartum time. I know that. And I've had that same offer to those moms as well, saying, you know, we go back and forth. It's like you were saying, like, so you're hoping that there's that ability to have help in school pickups with other moms and parents. So while it may not be equal, like I did it this week, you do it next week, it's always that like idea of, hey, when you're in a tough spot, I am available for you here. And knowing that is what I think really comes down to what a village means.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And I think if we're talking a lot about, you know, the aspect of give, forgive, and give and take, and all of those things that we sometimes struggle with, there's a lot of guilt underneath all of that.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of guilt. Which again is ingrained into us, I think. And the idea is rest is something you need to earn, again, a bit like self-care. Like in some cultures, rest is something that is expected, or it's just a given, you know. Japanese cultures, such as, you know, the art of doing nothing and that sort of stuff, it's the guilt theme props up in so many episodes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I'm so grateful for the community that I'm a part of, and some of the people that are in my village who are pushing me to rest and take so much time off for this pregnancy and postpartum. Like I am just crawling in my skin thinking I am not going to be able to work for however long, and this is bothering me. And that's such a Western thing. Like that is so like indicative that I live in the United States. Like, so it's definitely very guilt ridden too, to be like, okay, you know, like I'm saying with these parents offering to walk Declan to school, I'm like, this is the only time I get movement in. Like I need these walks. I walk twice a day to and from school in the morning and the afternoon. It's a mile a day. It's not that much. I need to move. I'm not moving any other way except to walk up and down my stairs to leave the house. I'm like, what if I did give that up? I mean, yes, I'd be resting, but also pregnancy requires some movement too.
Yeah.
So I feel this guilt, like, yes, I want to say yes, but also no, I can't say yes.
Oh, it's so hard to find the balance, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like we can either have it or we can't, and we can't just have a happy section in the middle of just
the idea that a rested mom is a better mom, like that is so hard to get on board with, I feel, for so many people.
Yeah. It is true. I am better when I am well rested or slept.
There's proof. How do we not?
Yeah. Yep. There's actual evidence under this roof. Like, yeah, it's very true. Although sometimes I was talking to another mum today actually, and she was saying, I feel like sleep is more about like the 48 hours, because sometimes it's the day after the day after. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, I've only had 4 hours sleep. I better just keep going and not sit down because I don't think I'll get up if I sit down. And then the next day you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Even though you might have got 8 hours the next night.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's not always the day after. It's sometimes the day after that. So yeah, that's just my experience as well. So yeah, it's hard to tell. I think we're all so sleep deprived. It's like, yeah, it's hard. But again, it's a universal, I think, sort of feeling, that guilt.
Yeah. And if there's cultures that don't feel that, I feel like that's just been like what's ingrained in that culture.
Yeah.
Like there's rest not just in motherhood, there's rest everywhere in that culture. And I'd love to explore that more, like be immersed in a culture that promotes rest for everyone's mental health and well-being.
Yeah, like having an afternoon siesta, right?
Yeah.
Where at, I think it's around 2 p.m. or something, like everyone goes in and has a rest.
Mm-hmm. That would be lovely.
That would be lovely.
Well, speaking of that, like what can we start borrowing from other cultures? Like, I mean, even for me, I've put boom gates down, like set up boundaries and like when I work and when I don't work and where my self-care block is on my calendar. But when we think about other cultures, what are they doing where they're resting or promoting this village mentality that we can start incorporating wherever we're living?
I definitely like the idea of an afternoon nap. I love napping during the day. I do feel like there's a bit of an art to it, though. Like if I nap for too long, I just end up groggy and feeling like, oh, worse than before. And so it's usually about 20, 30 minutes for me. That's an ideal sweet spot, which really that's a lunch break, right?
Yeah.
That's the lunch break where you could take a break and at the same time, I feel like I only have 4 hours when the kids were at school, and if I'm taking half an hour of that to sleep, it's like,
there's
pressure.
Your guilt, right?
It's also pressure. It's also pressure because I know that I've got to get to school pickup and then start basically after that, it's a little bit of catch-up time and then start dinner time. So it's keeping the routine and safety around that routine and predictability for the kids, but also being like, it's trying to fit everything in. So, yeah. What about you? What would you like to adopt at this stage of
I feel like it's something I'm currently doing, and this could be seen as a luxury because I think it's a luxury for myself. We have Declan picked up on a certain day of the week by a babysitter, and that's our date night. But there is a good chunk of time that I'm home alone without him before my husband comes home when I stop work. It's usually a later day for work for me because that's the whole reason why we have someone pick him up from school so I can work later. But then that's like a good hour, maybe 2 hours. And I have stopped doing things around the house or even work and literally just done nothing. So I think I've already started just like letting that be the time that I sit down on the couch and decompress from the day and just let myself have me time. Like, so I think I've already started something similar, and I just want to make sure I keep that up for a while.
And there's a lot to be said of just doing nothing. I was actually watching a video the other day that came up on my scroll feed thing, which said just do nothing, and you'll actually find that you're more productive doing nothing for 10 minutes, half an hour, than if you got your phone and your computer and your all of the things. But I don't know how realistic that is with 4 kids and everything else. So
well, we like to not just talk about the guilt and the village and what we can do better about self-care and how we mucked it up. But we want you listeners, as you've been listening, to be able to walk away with a win also at the end of these episodes, something that you might be recognizing some of this guilt in your own life and wishing you had a village as well, and wondering what other cultures are doing that we could do better in our self-care wherever you're living. So we want you to be able to walk away with some kind of a win today so you can start applying it too.
Yeah, definitely.
So self-care doesn't have to have one look. You can find the version that fits your life and give yourself permission to make it your own. I guess we can think about like one culture's approach to rest or community that genuinely resonates with you today. And just like Linda and I were talking about, like, what's one thing that we're going to start applying? So what is it about the idea that your current life is missing? So think about that question. What's missing from your life that you can pull from another culture?
Yeah. And this week, Jill, I'm going to try and ask one person for something small, and I challenge anyone who's listening to do the same, whether it's just a hand with something, or maybe you need to chat with someone about something that's on your mind, a favour, because I do think that's how the village starts to be formed, just one small step at a time. Yeah, one small steps.
Love it. All right. So if you get to do one of these 2 things, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear how someone else's culture might be influencing your self-care. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today, listening in wherever you are in the world. You deserve rest that actually fits your life. So shoot us a message. It's Mucked Up My Self-Care Podcast at gmail.com, linked in the show notes.
Or share it with someone who needs permission to just do things differently or rest. Maybe that's your act of asking one person for something. Maybe you ask them or you share this episode with them. It all helps us, and it really makes a huge difference to the podcast if we can spread the word.
We'd also really love to know if you are listening from a culture that does prioritize rest or villages, because Linda and I, we don't have that in our cultures, and we'd love to learn more and pick your brain about what it actually is like where you are and how you prioritize that. So if you're listening from a culture that is like that, please shoot us a message so we can chat more.
Yeah, and we also know that we have a worldwide listenership. So we have people listening in from all over the world. So if all of that is a little bit daunting for you, even just drop us a message and let us know where you're listening from. We'd really love to hear from you.
Very cool. So until next week,
we hope you can unstuck your muck.
Bye.
Bye.